What's up, folks? It is now time for the next episode of our Discovering Pathfinder series, where I dive into this new, for me anyway, tabletop role playing game from the folks at Paizo. I am currently working my way through the core rulebook in a public setting, asking questions as they go along in an episodic format so that you, the amazing people out there who love Starfinder and know all about it, can help me get up to speed on everything there is to know about this system so that we can prepare for the campaign that we've got theoretically, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, maybe hopefully coming later this year. So if you like that kind of stuff, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon as we dive into things, because today we're going through magic and spells. And this is a part of the book that I'm extremely curious about because, as I understand it, this is a science fantasy setting. So we're obviously dealing with science fiction and futuristic things and spaceships and, warp drives and interplanetary travel and all sorts of other stuff. And I'm really curious how they blend magic and spells into a science fiction environment. So let's read this description here. It says magic. It says, although technology and magic are almost inextricably entwined in the Starfinder role-playing game, magic nonetheless works according to specific rules that have little to do with machinery. This chapter lays out the process of casting a spell, details how to counter and combine magical effects, how special abilities work, and the mechanical elements listed in Starfinder's spell descriptions, as well as the spell descriptions themselves, which it says begins on page 340. We're currently on page 330. Casting spells. When your Starfinder character casts a spell, she is harnessing the latent magical energy that permeates the universe to achieve specific measured results. Effects. Sorry, whether you're playing a mystic or technomancer, or a character who has gained the ability to manipulate magical energies. Casting a spell follows one basic process described below. Cast spell always has the obvious effect that are noticeable by nearby creatures. It is not possible to clandestinely cast a spell. Okay, that's very informative. That's good to know. So you cannot surreptitiously cast a spell where no one gets to see it. Like, it's obviously going to be notable to everyone around you that you're casting. So obviously you choose a spell. You have to be capable of casting that level and within your spell slots. Blah, 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 blah. Spell level, caster level, spell slots. That's stuff that I can read through rules at my leisure. Spell level. Okay. Yep. Variable level spells. Spell has different effects depending on the level of spell slot used to cast it. Okay, so that's kind of like, yeah. I'm thinking of the globe spell, whose name I always forget from Dungeons and Dragons. Caster level checks. The rules sometimes require you to make a caster level check. To attempt a caster level check, such as to overcome a creature's spell resistance, roll a 1d20 and add your character level. Ooh, that's interesting. So that's to see whether or not you can even break through their protection. Concentration interrupt spells. I'm familiar with that from D&D. We'll see how it works here when we get into this. Concentrating in harsh environments. If you attempt to cast a spell in environmental conditions that make spellcasting impossible, the spell will fail. Bad weather, when your ship is making tricky maneuvers. Excuse me, you can typically cast spells in bad weather when your ship is making tricky maneuvers, but the GM's discretion, you may be subject to extremely violent motion checks like an earthquake or hurricane weathers. Okay, then there's the spell effect. Some spell descriptions refer to attacking and all offensive combat actions, even those that don't damage opponents, are considered attacks. Anytime you would need to make an attack roll to determine whether your spell hits. Okay, I'm familiar with that. We do that in 5th edition as well. Bringing back the dead. Magic and technology can restore slain characters. Bringing someone back from the dead revolves around magically retrieving their soul and returning it to their body. So there's a raised dead, which gains 2 permanent negative levels. There's a penalty there until they get a restoration. Okay, that makes sense. Preventing revivification. Revivification? Ooh. Revivification against one's will. A soul can't be returned to life if it doesn't wish to be. That's very interesting. It says here a soul automatically knows the alignment and patron deity if any of the character attempting to revive it, which may be the reason it refuses to return. I have a question about that right there, because it says here that a soul automatically knows the alignment and patron deity. It says cannot be returned against its will. Does that apply to everything? Because usually in other universes and other worlds and other games I've played, other video games as well, sometimes people can compel a soul to come back into a body, and it creates some horrific creatures, especially if you're thinking about like the Witcher universe. So that's very interesting, that rule holds true here. Spells or magical effects here, it says usually work as their descriptions state, except in special cases a spell does not affect the way another spell operates. Whenever a spell has a specific effect on other spells, the spell description will explain that effect to combine magical effects. Interesting. Duplicate effects do not, okay, 2 bonuses do not stack even if they come from different spells or from effects other than spells. However, damage from multiple spells that deal damage is always cumulative. All right, I have a question for the people here in the chat. It says here, 2 bonuses of the same type do not stack even if they come from different spells or from effects other than spells, but damage from multiple spells. So here's my question. Obviously, direct damage spells, it says that that damage is always cumulative no matter where it comes from. However, I'm thinking of something like a damage over time, like a fire effect or a poison effect. It says here that 2 bonuses of the same type do not stack, even if they come from different spells. Does this also apply to different characters? Let's say we have 2, I'm going to use this generically, 2 mages in the group. We both cast a fireball. Both of our spells hit for the direct damage component, which stack. Those are cumulative. But what about the bonuses? What about the damage over time component of those fireballs? Does only one of those fireballs stick? I don't know if fireball has a damage over time. I'm using that as an example. If the fireball were to apply a damage over time component after it initially hits, I'm assuming it only applies once. So if someone else casts a fireball, it's not going to do another dot, right? It just won't stick. Food for thought. Question, I should say. Countering spells. Ooh. You can use slow to counter a casting of haste. That's normal. Spell description format. Okay. There's mystic spells, technomancer spells. Oh, they're showing me the icons here. Okay. Divination, enchantment. Hold on a second. Spell. Schools and descriptor. We've got abjuration, conjuration, divination, enchantment, evocation, illusion, necromancy, transmutation. Okay. I don't need to know how targets work. Everything is spell saving throws. I'm aware of how that works. Yep. Spell lists. There are dozens of spells available to spellcasters in the Starfinder RPG. The following pages represent the spell list for the Mystic and Technomancer. So are the Mystic and Technomancer the only 2 casters that can use magic, or are these like the base classes that use magic, and then from there you can break it down and people can use Mystic abilities, people can use Technomancer abilities, or are spells only available to those 2 classes? Because it specifically is only mentioning the Technomancer and Mystic. Literally, that's what it's listing. So there's a Mystic spell list. So 0 level. Is 0 level like cantrips, everybody? So I'm looking at this right here. And it says 0 level Mystic spells. Daze, Detect Affliction, Detect Magic, Fatigue, Ghost Sound, Grave Words, so on and so forth. Is that like cantrips in Dungeons and Dragons? It would make sense if it is. That's why I'm asking, because it's 0 level. Spells go up to 6th level. Then we have Technomancer spell list. Also goes up to 6th level. So is 6th level the highest spell level there is? And here's... Hold on, I need to scroll back up for something. Spell name. Okay. The spell level for each class that can cast a spell, typically a number between 0 and 6 that indicates that spell's relative power, is listed directly to the right of each class icon. Variable level spells express their levels in a range. See spell level and variable level spells on page 330. Well, hang on, let me scroll back down here. So animate dead. It says 4 and 4. Sorry, guys, this is what I'm trying to figure out. What does this mean here? I'm assuming because it has a 4 next to this, a 4 and a 4, and this one only has a 3. So this means it's 4th level Technomancer or 4th level Mystic. And this would only be 3rd level. Arcane Sight would be 3rd level Technomancy? Which one is the icon for that? Yeah, Technomancer is the lightning bolt. So that's a okay. That's a 3rd level Technomagic. And then this is a second level mystic. Okay, I think I understand that now. Sorry guys, it looked more confusing than it is. All right, there's a lot of stuff in here. Flight? What? It says level range 1 to 6 here. What is that? Why does it scale? You tinker with the particles of magic surrounding one or more targets to allow them to either slow a fall, gently rise, or descend, or fly short or vast distances. When you cast Flight as a first level spell, you can target one medium or smaller falling object or creature per level at close range. Target must be within 20 feet of each other. For each target. When you cast it as a second level spell, you can target yourself. Aha, so you can't do it yourself as first level. Second level, you can cast it on yourself or one willing or unconscious creature or unattended object up to 100 pounds or 10 volt per level. Third level spell, you can target one willing or unconscious touch creature and give it the power of flight. Fourth level, affected as per the third level version, except the target's flight speed is increased by 10 feet and spell lasts for 10 minutes. Ooh, per caster level. That's a 40-minute spell. When you cast it as fifth level, 1 hour per caster level. When you use the flight speed for long distance movement, you can hustle without taking non-lethal damage. You can cover 140 miles in an 8-hour period of flight, or 80 miles at a speed of 50 feet. When you cast it at 6th level, you can target multiple willing or unconscious creatures at close range and affect them as per the 3rd level version of the spell. 10 minutes. All right, so that's pretty awesome the way that that's lined out. So it scales in level. Cool stuff. Well, I think that's going to be it for this one, everybody. This will be a shorter episode. The next one, I don't know if I'll record an episode around it. It's called the game mastering component. That's more just for me to learn how to be a game master. And I've been a game master for 30 years, so I don't know if there's anything in there. I'll give this one a quick. Honestly, I don't think there's anything in here that I need to read through on screen because I know how to GM. Sorry. What's left? The setting? Hang on, I'm just scrolling through here. Oh, this is where we're going to get into the history. This is the part that's going to suck me in, is the setting, because now I have the Packed Worlds guide too, which I can read through, and we're going to be doing all that here on the channel. So like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update as I continue my Discovering Starfinder series. We'll be doing Pathfinder later, don't worry. Support if you can, super chats, super stickers, memberships here on the page, memberships over on Patreon where you can get a copy of our tabletop book and the first module. Check that out. Book series as well. There's a point and click adventure game you get the demo for. I'll see everybody in the next episode. Until then, safe gaming, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and following along with this series. And to those of you who have been giving me great information on Starfinder, I appreciate it. I'm continuing to expand my knowledge and love for this world. So until then, cheers, everybody.